Divine understanding, where wisdom meets peace. The angel who killed 185,000 soldiers. In the past, between the 9th and 6th centuries BC, there existed a notable, highly organized troop with a solid hierarchy and dedicated soldiers. These fierce warriors were the Assyrians, originally from northern Mesopotamia. They not only defended their people with fervor, but were also led by a remarkable king, Sennacherib, who was active and courageous, often personally leading them into battle. The Assyrians were masters in the art of conquest and expanded their territories impressively. One of his greatest achievements was the dominion of Israel, as it is said in 2 Kings chapter 18 between verses 9 and 12. However, divine intervention was about to happen, changing the course of his ambitions, practically decimating its powerful army of 185,000 soldiers. Now you may be wondering who the Assyrians really were. How did this army become so powerful, and how did divine intervention result in their downfall? This is definitely a story quite intriguing, and I am here once again to share these amazing facts. The Assyrians were a people full of stories and notable achievements. They challenged even the mighty Babylonian kingdom and built the last great Assyrian capital of Nineveh. But their boldness led them to face terrible resistance of Babylon, especially when he tried to capture there in 689 BC. What motivated this destruction? The destruction of Babylon was largely a response to the kidnapping and execution of Sennacherib's firstborn son. Sennacherib was an exceptional leader, unlike many kings of the time. He was a courageous warrior, always leading his troops from the front line. His army was famous for its effective organization, iron discipline, and fearsome brutality. They had a rigid hierarchy steering system and well-identified rules for each hierarchical group. What made them a cohesive force in battle? The Assyrians innovated in terms of organization, but also in uniforms. They wore leather clothing with a bronze finish, which made them agile and protected. Additionally, their conical helmets and leather shoes provided additional protection. They pioneered the use of bronze shields and also implemented a bronze disc as chest protection. This way, the soldiers felt much safer, which gave them a lot of courage compared to other armies of the time. During the reign of Sennacherib, the Neo-Assyrian Empire had notable growth, becoming one of the great powers of the Near East for more than 30 years. This assurance and courage can be compared with Proverbs chapter 18, verse 10. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run to it and are safe. This exceptional achievement was not by chance, but the result of an intelligent and careful strategy. Conquering new territories and expanding the empire was not only a personal satisfaction for the emperors, but also a way of demonstrating their power before the people and neighboring nations. Each city or territory conquered increased the wealth and influence of the empire, making its leaders respected and feared as true gods. The Assyrians kept their vast army always ready, with a constant gaze towards Israel, ready to use their swords and take Jerusalem, which would also mean conquering the Jewish people. It is important to note that in times before the Christian era, wars often had a religious aspect, with emperors invoking their personal gods in battle and offering victories as tributes to these deities. In the case of the Assyrians, their god was Ashur, and they fought many battles in the fields, villages, and cities in his name. However, when Sennacherib planned to attack Israel in 705 BC, he underestimated something powerful. The only God of the Israelites, even without a gigantic army, defeated the Assyrians. Israel was ruled by Hezekiah. Hezekiah was a God-fearing king and considered one of the greatest in Judah. During his 29-year reign from 726 to 697 BC, Hezekiah made crucial changes since the beginning of his government. He began repairing and purifying the Temple of Jerusalem, integrating the priests and Levites into his ministry. Furthermore, he restored the celebration of the Jewish Passover, fought idolatry and the worship of pagan gods, and even destroyed the bronze serpent worshipped by some Israelites since the time of Moses. Hezekiah also improved the water supply in Judah by building canals to facilitate the flow of this precious liquid, not only to quench the people's thirst, but also to irrigate the crops. After these achievements, Israel enjoyed a long period of peace. Before Sennacherib arrived at the gates of Jerusalem with his troops, Hezekiah receives a message from messengers on the brink of a dangerous battle that could spell the end of Israel. Hezekiah, a man devout and faithful to God, sent aid to the prophet Isaiah. Asking the Almighty for help, he prayed to God for days in a last desperate attempt to make life difficult for the Assyrian army. Furthermore, he ordered the construction of tunnels to prevent Sennacherib soldiers had easy access to water during the siege. When the day of the battle came, Sennacherib and his army before the impressive walls, Jerusalem was ready for a fight that I believed was certain. However, something inexplicable happened. An angel sent by God fiercely attacked the Assyrian army, brutally eliminating 185,000 soldiers. Jerusalem and Hezekiah were saved thanks to divine intervention. This divine intervention is written there in 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 35. That night the angel of the Lord went out and killed 185,000 men in the Assyrian camp. When the people got up in the morning, they were all the dead bodies. 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 35. Sennacherib requested that all remaining soldiers returned to his territory under the weight of a terrible defeat. This story teaches us that total trust in Almighty God can be a more powerful weapon than an army of thousands of soldiers. God always has the solution right at the right time for those who follow you. And so we come to another end of an incredible story, and we wait for next week. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe here to the channel, leave a like and share.